Hello and welcome back to the Grove Cat. In today's video, we'll be talking about the hidden roots of Christmas. And with this, I want to kind of talk a little bit more about all this thing about maybe pagan did not want have Christmas erased or something along that line. Anyway, let's go and we'll see what's going on with this festive time. So from a very young age, I always liked Christmas, but not only for the gifts that we were given, of course, and of course was fun, but what's more about all the feelings that you have during that time, like how things are. Like you see people and you sometimes enjoy to see people, even that old uncle or aunt that is very annoying. But really, you actually, I know I was like that. I liked that period of time. And it was not, like I said, was not because of only the gifts, but of course it was part of it, but it was all fun. So one thing that I want to address is like, and what if the Christmas some celebrate isn't just a Christian holiday, but actually a 5,000-year-old solar ritual disguised in tinsels and gifts, and to be honest, my real question that I've always had is really, how old is Christmas? Because if it's not only coming from Jesus' birth, then what happened? Since when? Anyway, tonight we are going to peel back some of the layers of in history, really, to reveal what is actually Christmas. And we'll talk about the pagan gods. We'll talk about solar solstice. We're going to talk about, of course, if you follow this. If you follow this channel, you'll know that we'll talk about the esoteric symbols that are behind pretty much everything, and we'll see what where Christmas come from. So let's go and let's see what's going on. All right. So first thing first, I really want to stress that Christmas was not born on the 25th of December with Jesus. Okay, I know it's shocking for some, but hang on a little bit, hang on with me till the end, and you will understand why I say that. And it's not because it's not important, okay? It's really the actual truth behind what is Christmas. The date of December 25th was actually chosen like in the 4th century CE, Common Era, and by the early church. Actually, it's the early church that wanted to absorb the existing pagan festivals so that people would come to their religion instead of staying with the pagan religion that they were used to. So here's a timeline. About 3000 BCE, so before Common Era. And for those of you that might not know, Common Era was referred to as before Christ. Okay, so just so you know. So 3000 BCE, so 3000 before Common Era, the Neolithic monument, there was a Neolithic monument like Newgrange in Ireland that is still aligned with the winter solstice sunrise. So this is something that is very interesting to see, that even back then it was important for them, the winter solstice, which is the 21st of December, in case you did not know. So in 2000 BCE, you see a lot of Germanic and Norse tribes that celebrate Yule. So Yule is basically the rebirth of the sun. A little bit later, the 3rd century BCE, the Romans honor Saturnalia, which was a festival that was held between the December 17th and 23rd. So in this festival, they were feasting, they were gift giving, there was role reversing, but I will talk about that a little bit later. And in the 1st century CE, you had Mithras, that was a Persian god, Persian sun god to be precise, and that is born from a rock on December 25th. And that was celebrated by Roman soldiers. In 336 CE, so 336 Common Era, so that means 336 years after the birth of Jesus, it's the first recorded Christmas on the 25th of December in Rome. So, and this it was coinciding with Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. So as you can see, this was not a coincidence. It was actually blending the old gods with the new faith to convert the masses. Now let's go over some of the old traditions and see if they kind of match with the Christmas that we know now. The winter solstice. Now, that's the true birthday of the sun for the ancient people. December 21st, 22nd was the darkest night and the longest night. So after 3 days, the sun, where the sun stood still, solstice, then it began to start rising higher, and so the day was a tiny bit longer, and that was noticeable. So it actually was the rebirth of the light. So, or if you want, a cosmic resurrection-ish. And this is not only in Northern Europe. It's actually in Egypt. You have the same idea with Horus, that was born to Isis on December 25th, because that was the solar alignment. You had also in Persia, and in Rome, of course, you had Mithras, that emerged from a cave from a virgin birth, and with shepherds around, and there was 12 followers, which is the zodiac. And in Northern Europe, before Jesus, you had the Yule log that burned for 12 days in a way to coax the sun to come back. So, does that sound familiar? I mentioned also Saturnalia, which is we can classify that as something like the original Christmas party. But it was a long one, so from the 17th of December to the 23rd of December, you had a festival during that time where it was gift giving, where you had candles, figs, dolls, feasting, drinking. The master served the slaves, And this is the role reversal that I was talking about a little bit earlier. And it was kind of a way to express equality in the Golden Age. And well, you also had evergreen decorations because this is the symbol of life in winter, right? It stays green even during winter time, so it was all the reasons why we have those symbols now in Christmas. So basically, the church did not invent joy during that time. They actually rebranded it. That's all there is. Now, with this, you will have different things. Like there's different pagan symbols that are there that their original meaning and how it was rebranded by the Christians. So, evergreen, the evergreen is actually one of them. The Yule, during the time the Norse, right? So the world tree, which is Yggdrasil, was also seen as the eternal life, the eternal tree. Um, One representation that we have today that is still around today is the tree of life, right? So you had that. So the tree of paradise is something that became gradually a Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree that we know today is actually something that came up in the 16th century in Germany. So that's one of the main thing that we have there. So you have that tree that is always there. Now the wreath that we put everywhere during this time of year, it's basically the solar wheel. It's basically the the cycle of seasons. Um, Crown of thorn also can be represented by that, the eternal life. Uh, the mistletoe is another very, very strong pagan, actually druid symbol that you have, which express the fertility. So kiss under the sacred plant guarantees good fertility. It became the kissing ball at a certain point in the romantic tradition. You also Odin was known to fly on his flying horse to put some gifts in the shoes of the kids. And this is today something that is a little bit more, it's closer to St. Nicholas. In Europe, it's a little bit more frequent over there. And it's one of the things that they actually know that St. Nicholas is putting some little gifts around the December 6th in the shoes of the kids. So they put it there. So in North America, the tradition we have is just to put it on stockings, but in Europe was in the shoes. You also have the Yule log that burned for 12 nights, okay, to bring back the sun. That thing became what we know of the Yule log, or bûche de Noël in French. It's a cake for those who don't know, and that is directly coming from the Yule log. The Santa Claus that is giving gifts is something also that, like I said, come from Odin, that was giving gifts. And the Santa Claus that we know today, the big fat guy with a long white beard and dressed in red and red and white with the black belt and all of that, well, this is a master advertisement class for Coca-Cola. They actually, Coca-Cola, the company, yes, in 1931, actually finalized the image that we know today as Santa Claus. It was not like that at all. If you look at the Yule 12th night of the sun's return, it's actually something that we know a little bit more today is the 12 days of Christmas. You probably know that song, on the 12th day of... I'm not singing it, no. And it culminate with January 6th with the Epiphany. So that's another one. So even every ornament that you put in your tree is actually a solar talisman, a round ball of sparkling gifts, if you want, and that is representing the sun. Every gift that you have under that tree comes from the idea comes from that festival, Saturnalia, that was there. Even the ho 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 that we know about Santa when he's going and is all jolly and all that, well, it actually comes from Odin's wild hunt cries. So yeah, Odin was going into his wild hunt, go ho ho ho, all happy, right? From an esoteric view, this wasn't just politics. Christ as the true sun, the early Christian called Jesus Sol Invictus, the spiritual sun that conquers darkness. You even have the idea, the alchemical gold, right, that is expressed in there in the solstice as the darkness before the light that you have later on. So that's another thing that actually is mirroring the soul's journey. And as for the perennial truth, the dying and raising God, well, this is something that is not only related to Jesus. Actually, Osiris, Dionysus, Mithras, and Jesus, of course, are just 4 examples that are well known, that they are the archetype of transformation. So this Christmas that people know is actually a universal initiation ritual disguised as a holiday. So, yeah, no, you don't have to choose pagan or Christian. It's not about that. So, for the holidays, try this esoteric practice just for the heck of it. Just on the 21st, just meditate at sunrise. Visualize your inner light that is reborn. Burn a small Yule log. If you have a wood stove, for example, that might be a good idea. Or even a candle. A candle will do the same thing. For 12 minutes, setting an intention. When you give something handmade. That revives actually the Saturnalia spirit of equality. So by doing this, you take this period of time that we call Christmas so that it becomes a personal solstice ritual, not just shopping. Shopping is okay, but there's way more into gifts than buying stuff from a store, right? So as you can see, pagans do not want to attack or remove Christmas. Far from it. On the contrary, We want to celebrate it, just like Christians do. We want to celebrate it. We just happen to celebrate it on the 21st. Well, starting at the 21st. It's a very old human celebration. So regardless of the name that you give it, Christmas, Yule, whatever you want to call it, it's just that. It's just a good old human celebration of the rebirth of the sun. So drop a comment down there, and let's rebuild that old magic together. So if you love this, please subscribe, hit that bell, share, whatever, all that good stuff that you have there, so others can see it. And yeah, maybe if there's enough interest, I'd say, I'll see if I can do something, let's say for Easter, for example, and I can pick a few holidays like that. And then we'll see. So, in the meantime, may your inner sun rise. Bless you all. Merry Christmas. Take care.